Piper Rockelle has responded to the allegations made against her mom in the documentary Bad Influence, The Dark Side of Kid Influencing, and I actually got the exclusive interview. I went to her house to talk to her, so let's get into it. So the first thing that the 17-year-old social media star, and the main thing that she wants readers and viewers to know, is that she is safe. This is what she told me. She said, "I'm safe. I don't need to be helped." And she wants to make one thing clear. She says the one thing that she is traumatized by is her ex-best friends making a documentary about her. So let's talk about that documentary in case you don't know about it. So Netflix released Bad Influence, The Dark Side of Kid Influencing on April 9th. It tells the story of Piper and the Squad, which was this group of mega star kid influencers, and kind of became this group that they would do content together and they would all get tons more views when they were together. So the Squad reached the heights of viral fame, and they were supposedly bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, which is just crazy, before everything fell apart in 2022 when 11 former Squad members filed a lawsuit against Piper's mom, Tiffany Smith, and her boyfriend and collaborator, Hunter Hill, and Piper Rockelle Incorporated. So those were the three things that they sued. And in the lawsuit, they alleged emotional, verbal, physical, and at times sexual abuse. The claims laid out in the filing are really intense. Like, there was this allegation that Tiffany had this alter ego identity of Lenny the dead cat, and she would speak as Lenny and say sexually explicit things to the kids. Allegedly, one of the kids said that Tiffany was selling Piper's underwear to fans. They also said in the lawsuit that the Squad members said that they were not compensated for their thousands of hours of labor. And so this was a huge thing. They were seeking $22 million in damages. They ended up settling. So they settled in 2024 for $1.85 million. And Piper told me that she thought God was answering her prayers when that happened. But now Piper thinks that the settlement served as a distraction so that the ex-Squad members could get together and do this Netflix documentary. So she said, "I feel like they've plotted this for years and years." So I asked Piper what she thinks of her ex-Squad members now, and she said, "They want publicity, they want sympathy. It's my turn now. They got their turn." So it was really fascinating to go to Piper's house. It looked like a pretty normal house, like a pretty normal Los Angeles house. It was behind a gate, but like that's not like uncommon in this city. There was a Piper Rockelle branded vending machine outside of the house, which I thought was kind of interesting. And Tiffany greeted me when I got there. She thanked me for coming. She offered me some water, and she actually sat outside and like worked on a puzzle the whole time I was there. So I went upstairs. I was in Piper's room. So we spent like, I think 2.5 hours together, and it was really interesting. So Piper was telling me about basically the way that the other moms would act towards her. I mean, Piper was the star of the Squad. Like, she was the biggest star. And it seems like the moms knew that. So she says, "I was in everyone's videos because all the moms would constantly be like, I want Piper in my kids' videos." It was a competition, like who's going to be Piper's best friend, who's going to be Piper's boyfriend. It made this stigma in my brain that anybody that's ever nice to me is just trying to get close to me to have me be in their videos. But Piper says that she will do anything she can to get justice for her childhood. She says it wasn't perfect, but it wasn't anything like they were saying in the documentary and in the lawsuit. She said, "I had a great childhood, and I also made other people's childhood better." So like the viewers. She says, "It was beautiful. It was completely ruined because of this whole thing being the lawsuit in the documentary." Speaking of the documentary, Piper hasn't watched it. She just hasn't. But when she's scrolling through TikTok, sometimes she'll come across clips. Sometimes she watches them, sometimes she scrolls away. But I asked her, does she think that her former friends are lying? And she said, "They're not making it up, but they're extending the truth. I was there. I witnessed it every day. I think that they believe what they are saying, but I was there and I saw everything." It's really interesting because at the end of the documentary and in posts and interviews since the documentary came out, former squad members have really kind of said that they took part in this documentary for an altruistic, kind of pure reason to save Piper from the clutches of her mother. And when I asked Piper about this, she said, that doesn't fly. She said, you know where I live, come get me if you want to save me. If you want to save Piper, stop talking, please, because by hurting my mother, you're hurting a part of me. So there was this allegation that Tiffany and Hunter Hill were kind of sabotaging the ex-squad members' YouTube channels after they left the squad. And I asked Piper about that, and she said, that's impossible to do. Once you leave the squad, you don't do as well. They all knew it, and it happened to them. People think that I have way more money and way more power than I have. And it's interesting because sometimes you forget that Piper's only 17 years old. So I hope you guys go read the full story, because I asked her about the specific allegations against her mom. I asked her about her content on BrandArmy, which people compare to OnlyFans, although BrandArmy doesn't allow nudity, but it's this subscription-based social media where people pay to see specific content. I asked her everything that you're wondering about. I asked her what she makes of the backlash against it, and she said, it's one of my favorite things to do, and I apologize if people don't agree with it. And when I heard her say that, I was mind blown. So if you're also mind blown, make sure that you like this video and you subscribe so that you don't miss any of the follow-ups. And this is all that I focus on, so you don't want to miss it. She said, it's the same photos I post on Instagram and I just get paid for it a little bit. And I asked her, do you worry about who the subscribers may be, because you can't know who's subscribing to you? And she said, I mean, I don't worry about it because you're well aware of what happens on the internet, so I just let it be. There's a lot of good people out there. There's probably a lot of bad people out there, but you can't control who follows you and who doesn't, because if they're supporting you, then let them support you. Let me know what you guys want to hear specifically about this story, because there is so much here. I mean, I wrote like over 3,000 words about it, but if you're wondering if the documentary painting her childhood as hellish and her adolescence as haunted by the specter of her controlling, manipulative mother, if you're wondering if this is going to force Piper off social media, that is not her plan. Online, she posts her usual content, smiling into the camera despite the hundreds of comments on each post referencing her safety and referencing the documentary. She says, I can't make it look like it's affecting me. I won't. Social media is about entertaining people, and I want to entertain them and make her happy. One day, Piper hopes the allegations against her mother will only be a strange footnote in her long, illustrious career. I've gotten this far, she says with a flick of her hair. I'll be fine. I'm getting the hard stuff out of the way. By the time I'm 30, I'll be zen. I'll be good. I was fascinated to do this interview. I couldn't believe that I was invited into Piper's house and able to sit down with her for hours. It was really interesting. Let me know what questions you have and I can answer those. I'll also link the full story in the description of this video. And if this is something you're interested in, life as a child influencer, the scandals of the influencer world, you should subscribe, because I have so much more coming, including an exclusive interview with Secret Lives of Mormon Wives stars. So stay tuned.